Today we're going to be talking about 7 new Subaru models that you can expect in the future. We're going to be talking about details that we have so far on each of these models, as well as when you can expect to start seeing these available for purchase. If you guys are new to my channel, my name is Alex. I like to make weekly videos just like this, all on Subaru related topics. So if you think you might enjoy those kinds of videos, consider clicking that subscribe button down below. And as always, if you have any questions, leave those down below and I'll do my best to answer them for you. From 2019 through 2024, the Subaru Forester remained unchanged, and the newest generation just arrived last month in the month of June. So this is the 2025 Subaru Forester. I made a video on this previously and we were talking about some of the changes we're going to be seeing moving forward for next year's model. So the 2026 model year, so about a year from now, this one is going to get a hybrid version, and it's not going to be a plug-in hybrid. We're going to talk about some of the pros and cons and why Subaru has decided to not do the plug-in hybrid and instead has opted for just a regular hybrid motor for the new Forester. But this is what we're going to be seeing next. I imagine it's going to be largely identical to what we see here with our current 2025 Subaru Forester, but instead it's going to have that hybrid powertrain to give us a little bit better fuel economy. Subaru also announced that they were going to be moving production of the latest generation Forester to the North American plant in Lafayette, Indiana. This will hopefully help boost production so more of those vehicles are available. And unlike our hybrid Crosstrek in the past, the newest line of Subaru hybrids is going to be available in all of North America. Before, it was only limited to those states that had stricter regulations on emissions. So many states like New York and California were the only ones that had the ability to get the hybrid option. The next hybrid we're going to be getting is on the Subaru Crosstrek. So for the last decade, they haven't really changed a whole lot on the Crosstrek, but for this 2024 model year Crosstrek, they did a redesign on a major refresh on the inside. So they redesigned the seats, they added that larger touchscreen display, and much more. The Crosstrek was previously offered in a plug-in hybrid option, but we didn't see many of them because, like I mentioned before, they were only offered for sale in those EV states that had stricter regulations. So we actually never got them in Louisville, Kentucky, or here in the Midwest. But moving forward, Subaru did say that we are going to be getting the non-plug-in hybrid for both the Forester and the Crosstrek here for all states in North America. Next, I want to outline some of the differences between a regular hybrid and a plug-in hybrid, and talk about why Subaru decided to go with the non-plug-in hybrid for this next generation. So the regular hybrid does not require an external charging source, whereas the plug-in hybrid does if you want to take advantage of the additional fuel efficiency. So with the plug-in hybrid, you get the advantages of being able to drive a short distance on the electric motor. It's typically anywhere from 30 to 40 miles of range, and then it is fully on the gasoline engine alone. Well, some of the disadvantages to the plug-in option is that, one, it is more expensive because you have a larger battery source and multiple other reasons, but then you also have the convenience factor. If you don't have a charger at home, you're trying to rely on finding a hybrid charger elsewhere. And so a lot of people tend to not do it. They don't end up using the charger or the hybrid plug-in option like they had intended. So they don't even get the full advantages of the plug-in hybrid, but they're paying for it on the front end when they purchase that car. Subaru interviewed existing owners of plug-in hybrid vehicles, whether it be a Prius or an older generation Crosstrek, and they found that many of them don't use the plug-in option, or they didn't even realize that it existed, so they weren't even getting the full advantages of having that car to begin with. So instead, they've decided to opt for the lower cost non-plug-in option. It's more convenient and also an easier transition from a traditional ICE vehicle. We sell more Crosstreks and Foresters by volume when you compare to our other models, so it only makes sense for Subaru to transition these two vehicles over to the hybrid option first. And I look to see Subaru probably adding the Outback, maybe even the Ascent later on as this progresses. So when do we expect to see these hybrids to start arriving? Well, the Forester hybrid is expected to arrive this time next year, so summer of 2025, and then the Crosstrek is supposed to arrive shortly after that. We don't know definitively when that may be, but that gives you a rough estimate on when to expect these vehicles to get here. Next up, we have some changes that are going to be made on the newest Outback. So for 2026 model year, the Outback is going to get a refresh. This is a 25 in front of me. Many of us thought that they were going to be making changes this year, but they didn't. And instead, the 2020 through now the 2025 Subaru Outback are among the same generation, and there are no significant differences between the two, aside from a few things like wireless Apple CarPlay being added in the 23 models. And of course, mid-cycle, I think around 2022, we got the wilderness trim level, giving us that off-road version of the Subaru Outback. We don't have many of the details yet on the 26 model year Outback, but here are a few things that I think Subaru is going to change. We've had this 11.6-inch touchscreen display on the Outback since the 2020 model year, and it was actually the first model to get it. That was later carried over to our other models like the Crosstrek, the Forester, and the Ascent. And I think for the 26 model year Outback, we are going to see the design language from the Forester. So we're going to see the new seat design that we have in the Forester and the Crosstrek, and the latest technology with Subaru's EyeSight system. So this one only comes standard with the 2 cameras. Only certain trim levels on the Outback have the 3-camera EyeSight system, whereas with the newest version of our Forester, those all come standard with the 3-camera EyeSight system, which gives you better vehicle detection and pedestrian detection for objects out ahead, so you can avoid accidents with that emergency automatic braking system. I think we're going to see that, and of course an exterior redesign. I think that the Outback is due for a refreshed exterior design. They did a mid-cycle back in 2023 where they added this mustache looking grille that a lot of people at first did not like. So I think they're going to change this up for the 25 model year. We'll probably still see tons of cladding like we have for many years previously, but they're going to make this probably a design that looks kind of boxier like the Forester is my guess. I don't fully know, but as soon as I can release those details and have all that information, I'm going to be making an in-depth video covering all that you need to know about the 2026 Outback. And for those wanting to get their hands on the latest and greatest with the 2026 Subaru Outback, expect those to be available in spring 2025. Next up, we are going to be getting an update for the WRX. Now, it's not the update that I know a lot of enthusiasts want to see. We are not getting the STI WRX that we used to have many years ago. Instead, we are getting an STI tuned WRX called the TS. So we're going to be getting the adjustable suspension on the TS trim level. It'll come in the 6-speed manual transmission. It'll have the same 2.4-liter turbocharged engine that is in the current WRX. And it's going to have the larger Brembo brakes painted in gold calipers with the 19-inch alloy wheels to match those larger brakes, something that will have clearance for those big brakes. And then on the inside, we're going to be getting the suede Recaro seats. I actually really like these seats, and they're going to have the blue side bolsters or the blue accent pieces on the seats with a fully digital, I think it's over a 12-inch digital gauge cluster. So no longer going to have the analog gauges. Personally, for a car that I like driving, the manual transmission, like the analog feel. I like the analog gauges, but a lot of the new modern cars are moving over to these digital gauges, and I look to see this digital gauge will probably be carried over to our other mainstream Subaru models like the Outbacks, Foresters, Crosstreks in later years. Orders for the new WRX will probably open up late 2024 and be available or arrive at dealer lots in early 2025. Subaru said they're going to have 3 new EVs by the end of 2026, not including our current Subaru Solterra. So this is our all-electric vehicle. This is our first one for Subaru, which was co-produced with Toyota. So if you look at the Toyota BZ4X, you'll notice that it looks the exact same, except for the badges are different. And this comes standard with all-wheel drive, whereas the Toyota equivalent does not. That one comes standard with front-wheel drive and only optional all-wheel drive. We don't have all the details yet on which EVs we're going to be receiving, but Subaru has said they plan to make a 3rd-row SUV EV that will probably compete with the new Highlander that Toyota is developing, the new EV Highlander, and then they'll probably have a smaller one, sort of like the size of a Crosstrek. For the last one, I have absolutely no idea what Subaru intends to do, but I'm guessing they're going to make it probably the size of our mid-size SUVs like the Forester or the Outback. Subaru is developing a lot of new cars, not just with their hybrid EV, but also their traditional ICE vehicles. I'm excited to see what comes moving forward with the new developments, the new trim levels being added to the lineup. But let me know your all's thoughts down in the comment section below. What kind of vehicles do you think Subaru should be developing? If you guys have any questions, leave those down below. As always, if you guys enjoyed today's video, please remember to click the like button. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you in the next one.